Just play along. Play along. If no one asks, just play along. Just play. Homemade hand grenades, just run away. This ain't one. Sunbathe, lost in space, out board a train, and then I'm gone. Homemade hand grenades, just run away. This ain't one. Sunbathe, lost in space, out board a train, and then I'm gone. Homemade hand grenades, just run away. This ain't one. Sunbathe, lost in space, out board a train, and then I'm gone. Homemade hand grenades, just run away. This ain't one. Sunbathe, lost in space, out board a train, and then I'm gone. Homemade hand grenades, just run away. Just light up a cigarette. Yeah, I'm a ticking time bomb. Red flags going up. Yeah, police on my front lawn. Hey, Jack, get off my back. What is it I have that you want? Straight cats chasing rats off the speed.
You know, I'm just doing what I think is right at the end of the day. You know,
That's what it's all about,
we
man.
gotta get out of the box in our thinking
Heck yeah.
and look at this stuff in a different way. But really just, you know, accept the fact that these are all humans, people. We love them, we care about them. You know, every loss of life is just a loss of life, and we can avoid that, especially with the, you know, heroin. I'm Rob Mutert, the founder and executive director of Warp Core, located here at 114 North Benton Street, Woodstock, Illinois. This organization started in 2017 when we lost a young man who was serving in the Army. I'm a military veteran, a young kid I knew through skateboarding. Ryan was serving in the Army, and we did lose him to suicide. And through that process of mourning Ryan's loss here locally in McHenry and Woodstock, I became aware of the heroin epidemic. Quite honestly, that was reconnecting with a bunch of people I hadn't seen in a few minutes, and it was kind of, how's Jim, how's Mary, how's Tom? And they all just said, oh, you don't know? And I said, no. And what? And they said, heroin, Rob, they're gone. And that year was a brutal year. In this county, we lost 79 people to opioids in 1 year and 39 suicides on top of that. I just said, you know what? This can be changed. We can make a difference, but we got to look at these problems in a different way. You know, from that moment in time on, you know, I've just got out of bed every day saying, hey, you know, we got to do this work. The community needs this work. Our neighbors' children need this work. And, you know, we're so far out of the box, I can't even tell you. But what I can tell you is the current state is broken. The war on drugs is a failure. This incarcerates people disproportionately. That's not solving any problems. But, you know, we try and stay out of politics for a reason, and that's because we are just trying to bring people together to deal with this nightmare called heroin and fentanyl in our community. We're seeing it everywhere, and, you know, this just needs to be stopped. Here at Warp Core, I say the stigma has ended. There's no stigma here on anything. I don't care what the issue is. It's mental health, substance use disorder, homelessness. These are the three main areas. Besides, you know, a lot of struggles people are still going through right now with acceptance in the community from the LGBTQ community. You know, all those stigmas, at least here, we say, they just don't exist. Because if we keep saying we have to end stigma, it'll never end. I say, let's say it's ended in small little pieces, small little steps as we move forward. Here and in my orbit, there is no stigma associated with anything that is affecting your life, period. Okay, Warp Core came from Warp Skate Park, which I owned and operated for many years here in the community, and that's really how I started getting involved with young people and really kind of providing a safe space. We were doing prevention-based programming then, and we didn't even know it. But when I saw a 12-year-old smoking pot, I would tell them, hey guys, let's sit down and talk about this. Engage them on a peer-to-peer level. In a skate park environment, we're all equals. I might be an old guy and they might be young, but we're all skaters. And that bond allowed me an opportunity to really start to connect and resonate with young people and just try and be a positive message, never judging, but just saying, hey guys. And so Warp came from that, and Core came from the fact that I'm a Marine Corps veteran. And I believe a core is a group of people that share a common belief system. So Warp Core, Warp, people ask me all the time, what does Warp stand for? And I say, we are real people. That's all of us. We are real people, and we're a core of real people trying to end this nightmare in our community. Sure, we can talk about prevention with kids, but a lot of the people I started engaging were skateboarders, musicians, and artists, and they were in the throes of the struggle. So that brought me to harm reduction, what I call reality-based harm reduction. I got involved with locals in the community, Substance Abuse Coalition, this event today. Live for Lolly were the first two people to embrace me and say, we got to work together. Live for Lolly provides all our harm reduction tools. Safe sex kits, got them right here. Safe injection kits. We have crack smoking kits. We have fentanyl test strips. We show people all the time how to test any recreational drug for fentanyl. And before you ingest, that's one of our mottos, test before you ingest. There's no stigma. Americans love drugs. We got to accept that fact. What we got to also do is accept the fact that we can easily stop unnecessary death and loss of life. It's all accidental for the most part. People are doing cocaine laced with fentanyl. They don't know that. They're trying to get high on coke, and they're getting flatlined and killed and dying, and many times saved because of Narcan. And naloxone is an opioid reversal nasal spray. We have injectables, but the harm reduction, we have probably put out over 1,000 units of Narcan in the couple years we've been in this location. And through that, we know, I don't have data to support it, but we know that we have reversed at least 100 overdoses with the Narcan that's went out of this building. The test strips go out of here like candy. So that's good, because that is people taking the time to test their dope before they ingest. And that's what's really important. Never ingest alone, always have Narcan, and if needed, we always have clean, safe supplies here for consuming. You're standing here in what I call phase 1 of our business plan. Phase 2 is a larger community center. My goal and our Corps' goal is to get the grant funding or private donations to open a community center in this community like no one's ever seen before. This is prevention through engagement. Just perfect. This is a vision I've had for over 5 years. We're danger close to making this a reality, but it provides an open, community-based center that would bring music, art, and what I call adventure sports to a whole new level, because we know for sure there's plenty of data. UC Berkeley did a study a few years ago. The Tony Hawk Foundation did a 2-year study, I believe it was, on the positive effects of skateboarding and community. And skateboarding and the positive effects from the disenfranchised in our community. Skaters forever were kind of the outcast kids in the community. They didn't really fit in anywhere. And a lot of times that's why we gravitate to skateboarding, because as I say, that's where all the other freaks like me are. I don't fit into this group or that group, but these people I share a commonality with. We love skating. We love the adrenaline you get, high you get from skating, and it just brings people together. But our vision of phase 2 is a ninja gym, like American Ninja Warrior style gym, little parkour added to that, indoor skate park, and possibly, if money and space permits, we would have some kind of MMA or boxing type of programming as well, so that we can offer as big of a menu to engage people in our efforts of preventing the bad. And we're close. If you live in the county, come sign our petition, call the county board directly, tell them to support Warp Corps in their funding. We're danger close. We're asking for a lot of money. We need a lot of money to do this thing, but I believe this could be just a bright light in this community to start to make the changes we need, because it's bad. It's bad.
Now, what would you say to somebody that's struggling and is afraid to seek out help?
You know, I know that it's a little cliche, but you're not alone. People love you, people care about you, and if you don't feel you have anywhere else to turn, that's what Warped Core's for. Again, there's no stigma here, there's no shame in where you're at or what you might be struggling with. We have a ton of linkage to services to help provide and get you the help you need. This is not a sober environment. We're not a straight edge environment. We don't endorse any one recovery-based program. That's not my gig. We are here to offer whatever might help. Maybe it's smart recovery, maybe it's an AA-based programming, maybe it's an inpatient program, or it's an outpatient program. These are resources here, and we can get you connected if you think you need help or if you're ready for help. The mental health side of this whole thing is as important as anything, because I believe most of it starts with a mental health, what I call in my space, the thing behind the thing. If heroin is your thing, there's something driving your heroin use. Bullying at school, trauma you experience, PTSD from the Iraq or Afghanistan war, whatever it might be. You know, those are the things that ultimately we got to get to solve the bigger issues. You know, mental health cannot ever go, we can't go backwards in the progress we've made in bringing mental health to the forefront. 10 years ago, if your kid broke his leg playing hockey and your neighbor shouted at you, "Hey, Rob, what happened to your son?" You'd say, "He broke his leg playing hockey." But if they say, "Why'd the ambulance come to your house last night?" and it was a mental health related issue, we would be shamed as parents to even say that. And we're way past that now. And we need to keep pushing forward, because mental health is health. Physical health, mental health go hand in hand. One isn't going to get fixed without the other one getting fixed. So, you know, I'm a huge proponent of addressing and understanding that mental health is the top tier priority to really get a big grip on, and then the trickle down effects of bringing the numbers down of people getting into drug usage and or dying from overdoses will all come down because we're addressing the root cause. It takes a village. We are the goddamn village. You know, it's us. It's our neighbors, it's our brothers, it's our sisters, it's our cousins, it's our friends, it's total strangers we don't know living on the other side of the city of Chicago. You'll never know, but they're still human beings and they still have value and worth. And we have to care about that again in America. We've lost that in our country. We went from a country that says all men are created equal to fuck you if I disagree with you. And sorry to get a little crazy there, but that bums me out as much as anything. That this great nation of ours, that I joined the Marine Corps to protect and defend America, has fallen into the gutter. And it's not good for our country, it's not for our mental health. If everything is either I win by you dying, that's the politics we're experiencing today. Trump, whether you love him or hate him, created this environment of winning is when I win and my opponent is a bloody hump on the floor, dead. That's not America. We are the United States of America. Red, blue, and purple right in the middle. That's America. And we got to get back to giving a shit about each other. Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, I don't care. I've been all of them. I was very conservative in my youth. I'm getting more liberal in my old age, but I'm an independent thinker. I don't buy the shit either one of them are selling us wholesale to be sheeps in their herd, saying I'm with them. That's not me and that's not America. The people in the middle make up a majority of who we truly are. The fringe is the fringe, but damn it, we as Americans got to be able to get together, have differences of opinion, but still love each other, respect each other, and God damn it, work hard together to fix the problems we got. My podcast is called Ranting with Rob, so we're about to launch season 2, so you know, it only gets better. No filter, no censors in my world. Anyone that knows me knows Rob will talk. You want to know what he's tripping on? He'll talk to you. Many of the artists on exhibit in here are people in recovery from both mental health and substance use disorder. So I call this my collection of pain and suffering.
A few people actually from Harvard and another person from Crystal Lake who checked out the display. One kid took a picture of it for his sister who's in recovery. He really loved how I said that you can fall in love with yourself, and he wanted her to hear that message. So it was really nice. It was nice to talk to some people about the work earlier tonight, for sure. I'm glad that he connected with the message that she could fall in love with herself, and that could be the key to recovery, because I think that it is. Because we kill pain with dope, but we kill everything else too. We kill our joy, we kill our energy, we kill our love.
My name is Mary Ann Gervais, and I'm the Outreach Coordinator for Community Health Partnership Clinics we have the one in Harvard, Illinois. We are part of the Substance Abuse Coalition, so we were here tonight for the International Overdose Awareness event that was held here. We had a table here because we offer medical, dental, and behavioral health services. My job is to go out and talk to the community. I'm bilingual. We have a lot of Spanish speakers in the area. So we want to make sure that everybody has access to healthcare. It's a federally qualified health center. My job is to go out and show people that we're out there. We go according to a sliding fee scale, so if they don't have insurance, it's very low cost. If they do, we take Medicaid, Medicare, some other insurances. But even a lot of people today have really high deductibles, so that's kind of our mission. Like for behavioral health, we have therapists. That's pretty convenient for a lot of people to be able to have an appointment with a therapist over the phone or like a video conference. We also have a psychiatrist, and then we have a medication-assisted treatment program that we kind of have just started. People are so interesting. Everybody's got a story. I have a niece that struggled with drug addiction and eventually died because of it. And I also have my best friend's younger sister who has struggled with drug abuse since she was in high school, since we were in high school, which is many years, but my best friend had to take care of her when her life was ending, and her body just wasn't holding up anymore after the drug abuse. So not necessarily a drug overdose, but just substance abuse over a long period of time. And if we can help people, either overcome their addictions or support them in that, that's just something we all should want to do. I just went over to Live for Lolly and I got some fentanyl strips and naloxone. I already have some in the clinic, but I'm going to use this because and I have one in my house, but if you can save a life by having something like this around, why not? So I'm going to keep it with me. And I'm hoping to have, some more training out at the clinic so everybody can be involved in it. The naloxone. Live for Lolly has put it in a nice, easy packet. There's 2 things of naloxone because you can use 2. You might need more than that. And then these are the fentanyl strips. They're in there, but they look like this. And it's very easy to use. It's kind of like you just need a little bit of the drug, or you can actually use the bag that maybe something came in, and or just scrape off some tablet. There's fentanyl everywhere. Okay, if anybody has a need for mental health, behavioral health, medical or dental, it's Community Health Partnership, or CHP, up in Harvard, and our phone number is 815-943-5655. 4339. And again, my name is Marianne. I'm more than willing, if you want a person to contact, be more than happy to help you get introduced to the appropriate staff. We're here to help.
My name is Kat Baker. I'm the lead vocalist of Broken Robots, and today we were here to run sound and talk a little bit about overdose prevention and awareness and all that stuff with Warp Corps and the Lonely Strings Band.
Do you know Rob?
Yeah. I know him, and then found out about what Warp Corps was doing for overdose prevention and harm reduction and everything, so we wanted to get involved because it has a lot to do with our story. Yeah, when I was 16, I got addicted to drugs, and when I was 17, I overdosed on drugs, and if it weren't for Narcan and naloxone, then I wouldn't be here today. So it's really important to me. I've lost a lot of friends. In fact, you know, Tony and I, the guitar player in the band, he's my husband, and we met because of drugs. And we got clean together 5 years ago. Yeah, I was looking for drugs, and he was a homeless guy. And so I used to give him like dollars and cigarettes when I drive by him on my way home from work. And one day I pulled over and I was like, hey, I need drugs. Like, can you help me out? He was like, no. And I was like, if I give you $50, will you help me out? And he's like, yeah, sure. So it started that way. And then we would take long trips to the city to get drugs. And over time, we got to know each other. We could learn that we had a lot of similar tastes in music. We were both into music. We were both failed musicians. And it went from being like a toxic relationship to us like getting clean. And we like to say that we got clean together separately. We had nothing. We'd been living on the streets for a while. We had gotten arrested, got felonies for drug possession, like all of it. We had literally nothing. And we went to a state-funded rehab in the city, and we went to a halfway house for a couple months, and then we lived in an Airbnb for like a month, and then finally found an apartment. And once we got situated, we started building a music studio. It didn't even start out as a band. It started off as like a passion project, like something to do, you know, for fun. And we bought all of this cheap equipment off of Craigslist and Reverb and eBay, just like the cheapest stuff you could get for music production. And we started off that way. And that was in 2017.
Wow.
And we have written, we just started writing, and we've written a full album, and we just released an EP, and we're writing more music now. Took a lot of tries in my life and finding the right support network of people. But yeah, you know, we're like, at this point, like we would probably all die for each other. This is how I approach it. So diabetes type 2 is a choice the same way addiction is a choice. You make a choice to eat a certain way, you know, for a repeated amount of time, and then your body starts changing its chemistry to react to what you're putting in your body. And it just like any disease is a choice. At the end of the day, lung cancer, I guess lung cancer is a choice, you know, if you consider addiction to be a choice, because, you know, while not everybody who smokes gets lung cancer, if you smoke cigarettes and you get lung cancer, like usually you know why you have lung cancer, you know. So addiction is absolutely a disease. I think the choice to use first, of course is a choice, but definitely a disease for sure.
And what would you say to somebody that is still struggling with addiction and doesn't really have an outlet?
Get help. That's the first thing. It's hard. You know, it took me till I had nothing left. I went from, you know, my most recent using time, I was like actually doing pretty well for a couple of years. I had bought a house. I was like doing really well. I had a decent job. Wasn't really happy though, you know, didn't have a good support network, had a lot of unresolved trauma. So that's what happened. But, you know, I lost everything in 3 months, and then I continued using for 2 years before I got help. Get help now. It doesn't matter how bad you are. If you feel like you need help, you need help. That's all there is to it. If you're having the thought, like, maybe I need help, then you definitely do. You know, there's so many programs out there now that are state funded that you can go into for no cost. And I would definitely encourage people to go into that. They're not like the fanciest places. A lot of them have like jail vibes a little bit, but it's like in the long run, it's very helpful. When Tony and I went into treatment the most recent time, the most successful time, we went to a state-funded treatment center. We had no money. We were on state health insurance, and they helped us out. You know, sometimes churches can help you pay for things when you need help with payment. If you know you really don't have any options at all. We've had churches. I had a church that would covered 3 months of a halfway house for me, because I couldn't afford it myself and I had nowhere to go. So I would like highly recommend people look into that. There's so many different organizations. A lot of these treatment facilities like know a lot of organizations that will raise money for this specific type of cause. So get help now before it gets any worse. You know, any kind of bad person trait a lot of the time comes from the way somebody was treated, the way that somebody is desperate for money. You know, we actually wrote a song about that. Like, a lot of people commit crimes because they're desperate for money, because they're either starving or they're on drugs. And when you're on drugs, your brain kind of rewires to think that drugs are just as important as food. You know, I think people would be amazed if we could like eradicate drug use or find a really good way to get rid of drug use. Like, they would be amazed at how many criminals don't actually exist. When I was on drugs and I was homeless, like, I would steal food from gas stations and stuff. You know, I would never steal anything from anyone today. And that's not because I've learned my lesson. Like, you know, that's because I just never believed in stealing. But when you're desperate enough, like, that's what happens, you know. People use drugs to cope a lot of the time. I know for me, like, I dealt with so much trauma at such an early age with, like, having just only one parent growing up with, like, neglected and everything. People don't realize, like, a lot of neglected kids and abused kids end up going to drugs because they have this pain that they don't understand, and you can't talk about it either, because if you talk about it, you hurt somebody around you. You know, you don't want to. It's just like there's so much like unsaid things that cause a lot of this stuff. And if people would just talk more as people about what's really going on in their lives and stop judging so much, then I think that we could get a lot further. Keep going. You know, a lot of people talk about the addict who is trying to get clean or who's having like a really hard time getting clean and they're still using. Like, people, what they don't talk about so much is what happens when you've been clean for a little while. You know, I had that thing happen to me where I was clean for like 5 years and I was like, I'm going nowhere in my life. I have nothing that I want. I have all these roadblocks. You know, I couldn't go to school. I couldn't do a lot of things because of my criminal background. So it was just like, you know, at a loss. And then it's like you end up just going back to the drugs because it's like this world isn't for me. Like, it never was, you know. So I think we should also start talking more about like what happens afterwards, you know, like the post getting clean part, because that's where we're at. You know, we've had a lot of failures. Things didn't work out the way we wanted them to with everything, you know. Like, we were hoping to have a house and a family by now, and, you know, things happen in life and but we are running a production company, so there's that. We're not famous. We're not a famous band. I don't know if I'd really want that anyways, but, you know, the being able to support ourselves and do something that we really enjoy with cool people is valuable. And yeah, next life phase stuff. My band is Broken Robots. My name is Kat Baker. 5 years clean. And go check us out on social media. We have Broken Robots Music is our handle everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, everything. We've got YouTube videos also, a bunch of videos we made. A lot of them were just for fun. We've got some stuff where we have like some messages and stuff like that. So check it out. I don't know why I chose that hand.
We're behind Jewel Osco in Woodstock. We just investigated the homeless encampment that's in the woods back there.
Just really concerned for the people that are living there, and we kind of want to show you guys what that environment looks like. And so I'm going to roll the footage for you guys, and you guys can check it out and see what that looks like.
this is so visually chaotic. It's very evocative of this whole place, like the tent poles, the broken glass, like just mess. Chaos.
It's everywhere. Bunch of stacked mattress springs.
That's all stuff they probably want to sell for scrap.
These are all cans of duster.
Get high off these.
Unbelievable.
I was actually just getting the growing feeling that we should leave. That's what I was standing here thinking.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
A little bit, it is, yeah. I also would hate for someone to show up here and I'm observing it like a scientist. You know, I'm not having to live in it. Because even in the worst of my addiction, you know, I was never sleeping in a hole in the ground. I mean, that's, I don't know, just as a nurse and a human and a mom, I just feel it. I feel bad for them, but I would hate for them to think that I'm looking down on it or, but we are outsiders, you know, to this level of like, I don't know, just addiction, really. I mean, I can understand being high on heroin and you don't give a fuck that you're laying outside because nothing matters. You know what I mean? Nothing matters. As long as you're high, nothing matters. And it could keep you in this place, you know, that kind of thing. This is America. That can be used as a filter on a crack pipe.
It's what you use to like,
Yeah, you
it's an
burn
abrasive sponge.
Yeah, you burn it and you put the crack on it and you burn the crack on there. Narcan. Somebody used it. Cooking? Never feel better. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Mom, about the spoons. I did that too.
Did she know?
Oh, yeah, it's insane.
It's like bent.
Yeah.
Is that what happens? You bend it?
So many times with this now. Look it up.
Wow. A little baggy. Well, let's go. Let's get out of here. Check my body for ticks. This is such a scary place to be because I had Lyme disease last year and I know you can easily get it from going in the woods like that.
Yeah.
I was literally raised by the internet.